Okay, fifth grade, you are practice painting today. Last week you made this, and I talked to you about using the line of the ruler to set your letters on for stencils. If you're using stencils, we're going to paint today. So I have one that I've already started. You should have a small cup of water, half full, at your table. You might have one or two of these. These are just extra trays. You're going to get whatever you get, and don't throw a fit. If you need to, then you can get one of these bottles, but see how there's just a little bit of paint in there? Shake it. Make sure you open it where it's away from you, and then put just a little bit in. Like I said, don't worry about the colors. Every table, when you do your ceiling tiles, you will get one tray to share, and then they will go back, if you remember, they'll go back in these airtight containers, okay? What I want to show you is there's different brushes. We've talked about this before. This is an angled brush. This is a smaller round brush. These are two bigger round brushes, but I want you to be aware acrylic is not good for the brush. See how this one, somebody didn't clean it, so please make sure you clean these. Get several different brushes. When I paint, and what I want you to do as an artist is to outline the shape first with the brush. You can use a smaller brush. Do all of that color before you change. We're going to practice using a Sharpie around the letters for the stencils. So today you will get your stuff set up and share your paint. Be aware of the wet paint. When this is dry, I want you to practice using the Sharpie today. When you get done, artists, you will take these home. So I will probably have you set them on the floor by the counter, and then you'll take them with you. So whatever you get painted today, you get painted. You can put whatever you want on this. After it's dry, you can add more detail. And like I said, I also want you practicing using the Sharpie to outline it. So then I would clean my brush. We do not add water. These are called acrylic paints. So I would clean my brush, have some paper towels, make sure I'm not splattering everybody, make sure it's clean. Go to the next one. I must say, your sketches that you're doing look amazing. So the first thing I do is I outline it. If this brush is too big, I'm going to show you this is kind of big, so I'm going to set this aside. I would clean that before I would pick up another one. See how I didn't get water, artist? And I would outline the shape first, okay, with a small area. And I've already showed you and gone over with the posters of how the steps of what we would do for our ceiling tile. So today we're practicing, then I can go back to my big paintbrush. You hold your paintbrush not on the barrel because that's where the paint is. You actually hold it up and down like this, so then you don't have your hands, so your hands are not getting over the paint. I just got paint on my arm. So your arms are not in it, okay? So remember to take care of Miss Paula. Practice paint today. Outline your shape first. Use a smaller paintbrush if you need to. You can get as many paintbrushes as you want. After it's outlined, fill it in. I don't care if you paint this whole paper, okay? So once it's dry, then I'm going to add another video to show you what it looks like at the end. I'm back. This is still wet. I went back in and I added a little detail. This was not drawn, but I painted some stuff on there. So please make sure you are not using the Sharpie, because remember, we're fancy. Don't use the Sharpie when the paint is wet. So at this time, I would go ahead and put my paint away. As long as nobody is using it, I would make sure that Miss Paula is clean. All the brushes are nice and clean. If you need to clean them in the sink, you can, but you should be able to just clean them with your water that's at your table, reshape them, and put them back up in the cup. I will probably have them in a little container like this, so all those paintbrushes that you use will just sit like this, okay? So while you're waiting on this to dry, you can free draw. So I would set this aside, but I am going to show you my VP is already done. So I would take my Sharpie, and some kids, when they do the outline, they think that they want it to be separate, meaning, okay, so if this is my A and this is my Y, when they outline, they would go right outside it. Instead, I want you to go on it. So if I show you on it, I would go on that where I traced it originally on that pencil. Take a marker, make it darker. That's outline. So back to this one, I would come in, do a steady hand, and when you actually do your ceiling tile, this is the last step, artist. where you would come in and you would use you will have a paintable Sharpie. They're kind of expensive, but they only get used on the ceiling tile. Okay, so see how I made a mistake and I had to make it a little bit darker? So you're going to make sure, maybe you need to come in and do that just a little bit darker. Have this, I'm trying to look at the camera and watch paper as I'm doing it. That's not a good idea. So I could come back in and I'll be back in a second and show you what the rest of it looks like. Here's what the finished product looks like. I want you to remember when you do your ceiling tile that this is the very last step. You use the markers. We might do this on a separate day where when you come back in after the paint is dry, then you will do the Sharpie, because it's hard on the Sharpie. If you look, I got some paint on there. This is the one that I wanted to show you. It has a ball inside of it, and this is an oil-based, and so when you use these only for the ceiling tile, you have to push them, and I ordered some new ones. You have to open it up, press it down on paper. You'll do that on paper if you need more. And this has like a shine to it, and you don't need to shake it. If you shake it, then it kind of it'll explode. So, like I said, after doing this might be the second time that you come back after that. So, have fun with this today.